Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Fikram Rettob. Throughout this video, I'm going to explain about the relation between Indonesia and Egypt, with the title The Cooperation of Economy between Indonesia and Egypt by Establishing Joint Feasibility or Group Studies with aim to create Preferential Trade Agreement or PTA as a legal source in trading between both countries. Let's begin with the introduction. Indonesia and Egypt relations have been going on for a long time, long before the era of independence. Indonesian-Egyptian relations that entirely could enter long before the Islam came. Namely, when the Egyptians began to use salt from Baros, an area of the archipelago, for the purpose of preserving mummies in Egypt. This is the earliest trail marking the existence of relation between Indonesian and Egyptian. This relation became more evident when the Islam came, with the presence of Shia Islam from Egypt, which at the time the holders of power were the Bani Fatimiyah in Perlak or the area of East Aceh. The diplomatic relation between these countries began when Indonesia became independent. Egypt was the first country to recognize Indonesia as independent, and Indonesia have sovereignty to govern its own nation. Coincidentally, Egypt at the time was the leader of the Arabic League, who was able to encourage Arab countries to immediately provide support for Indonesian independence. So, the relation between Indonesia and Egypt was begun for a long time ago. It is just the continuitas from the relation before. That is research question. In this research question, there are two questions that I'm going to ask. The first is about what is the process or chronology of preferential trade agreement, and why this cooperation is so important for both countries. In theoretical framework, there are three concepts that I'm going to use. The first is concept of Ummah, or known as Alamiah. Ummah or Alamiah is a spirit that prioritizes loyalty to particular religion without distinguishing the origin of the family, ethnicity, and the nation state. The second concept that I'm using is the concept of Wataniya. Wataniya is the spirit to put forward loyalty to the nation state more than others. The third is the concept of welfare has been developed to be broader than only measuring the nominal income aspect. Well-being is third, life, welfare, and quality of life. I'm going to explain about the chronology of preferential trade agreement. Seeing this, Indonesia moved quickly to carry out a preferential trade system, but with an equivalent countries such as developing country, namely Egypt, which is in 2005, the government of the Republic of Indonesia and the government of Arab Republic of Egypt signed the Comprehensive Trade of Economy Partnership, CTEP. The two countries agreed to start negotiation on the Preferential Trade Agreement, PTA, as the start of reaching Free Trade Agreement, FTA, which was the ultimate goal. And to implement CTEP, the two trade ministers agreed to establish a joint study group to study the feasibility of NVTA between both countries. Bilateral meeting of The Indonesian Minister of Trade and the Minister of Egypt was in 12 till 14 in January 2010. The second is the important things of preferential trade agreement for Indonesia and Egypt. There are three important things for both countries. The first is strong relation between Indonesia and Egypt, especially focused on economic side. And the second is export-import for both countries, such as the product from Egypt, which needed by Indonesia. Egypt government will prioritize Indonesia to accept or to export that product to Indonesia. On the contrary, Indonesia too, when Indonesia has the product which is needed by Egypt, Indonesia will prioritize that product to import or to export to Egypt. The third is investment for both countries. So Indonesia and Egypt, they are trying to open invest on that country from the Egypt and also from the Indonesian. And also when the public or in the private sector wants to invest, the private sector should fulfill the administration in their own country. For example, the private sector from Egypt want to invest in Indonesia, they should ask the permission from its own government, it is Egypt, to ask a letter or recommendation letter from that country, and they are they are able to invest in Indonesia. On the other side, Indonesia too, the private sector can invest in Egypt as long as they fulfill the administration and the government. That is conclusion. The relation between Indonesia and Egypt have started from long time ago, even before Indonesia got its independence. It was through trading from travelers from Egypt. This relation continued when Egypt recognized Indonesia as independent state, and both countries widely their relations such from economy and politics. From economy, they create preferential trade agreement in order to fulfill their national interests through export-import investment for both countries. This agreement used as a legal source for them. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.